1973, 74, when I went to Albany, everyone's talking in there about certain people. Everything's about power and strength and the fighters and all that. It's all about prison talk, you know. And I used to get a lot of people to talk to me about a guy called Roy Shaw. I've heard so much about Roy for the system, you get to hear about it. And I heard that he was a proper powerful man, and he used to take the doors off. He used to take prison door cells off, not the new ones, the old ones, just rip them off. And I thought, nah, he can't do that. And he can, you know what I mean? Screws in Albany that come from Parkhurst saying, yeah, he used to do it all the time. He used to put a book behind the door, snap it, but then pull the whole door off, yeah? He said, it's unbelievable what you should do, mate. And so I had a thing about taking the door handles off. Seriously, I was to rip the door handle off, off of cells. Not the new ones, the old ones. But when I was in Albany, right, my thing was, because Albany was a new prison, so they had new door handles. You had two sides of it, yeah? So you clicked it instead of one. So the one you had two. So you just put your hands and clicked it. And seriously, I used to do it. I used to snap them, yeah? Snap there's a bolt that goes through the handle, yeah, that holds it, yeah. I used to snap it off. Screws go mad. They knew it was me in a way, because I was the only guy that powerful who could do it, because I was so powerful as a young kid, yeah. And the screw that gets on my channel, yeah, from Albany, and he might put a comment on it. So if anybody looks at the comments, it'd be on it, I should imagine. Tell you about when I should snap the door handles. But Roy Shaw, he was a legend, mate. And you got a lot of, when I was in the gym with people that have been away with Roy Shaw and have been in Parkhurst with Roy, were telling me about the phenomenal weights this guy used to lift. And we're all about competitions, you know what I mean? And it's all about, I bet I can do more than that. And it got to the stage where I was doing more or less over the top of Roy. I was going into one, you know what I mean? And I was doing that a little bit more than Roy. And then they get to hear more stories about Roy, and it's like it goes on and on and on in prison. And when you're young, it's a sort of like, yeah, I can do better than that. I can do better than that. I can. And when I come out there, come out of prison end of 78, beginning of 79, in Chelmsford Prison, and I went to Lewisham, and I used to go down to Beckett. I went down to Beckett one day, and I was like on the bag, and I see this geezer walk in, and about 5'8", something like that, I suppose. Big, massive shoulders. I now know that he was walking in with Joe Pyle, big Joe Pyle. And it looked like the guy who was walking in was Alex Steen with the dark glasses. I didn't know then who they were. And he was sort of like, you see him in the dressing room, I was in the bag, and I see him come out, mate, this geezer. When I see him in the dressing room, not being perverted or nonsense like that, you know what I mean? But when I looked at this geezer in the dressing room, you could see it was open and you shut the door. And he was built like a bodybuilder. He was proper muscular, big shoulders, mate, massive big arms, you know what I mean? And no neck. His neck went straight into his shoulders. Very, very powerful looking, big legs, massive legs, mate. And he come out and he was sort of like moving around the ring, this, that and the other. And, he was just looking about and shadowboxing. And you could see this geezer's aura. He had an aura around him that he thought he was the business, Well, I suppose he was really. You know what I mean? The aura there. And don't forget, I'm like not that old really, but I'm older than Roy. Younger than Roy, sorry. And, I sort of think to myself, this is a legend. But I want to take that legend from him, you know what I mean? Because you're young and that's how it is, isn't it? And I see him get in the ring with Columbo, Steve Richards, And the Beckett ring wasn't all that big. It was a tiny one, and the ropes wasn't all that together really. It was a bit loose. And I see Roy steaming to Steve Richards. Steve Richards was a good fighter, mate. He'd fight anybody, Steve de Colombo. And he was holding his own with Roy Shaw. And then Roy Shaw got carried away, and it was stopped. You know, Steve Richards come out the ring. It was stopped. And then Jimmy Tibbet, he was there with me, and he asked me if I want to get in the ring with Roy Shaw. And I said, yeah. I was quite excited, really, because he's a legend, you know what I mean? I've been in prisons and heard about him and this, that and the other, what he's done and all that, but he didn't seem to hear about me after. He didn't know who I was, you know what I mean? So that upset me a little bit. Anyway, so I got in the ring with Roy, and my brother was there, Bobby, and Roy Shaw bashed me up in a way. He did bash me up. He was throwing punches from the floor, hit me on the chin. When I say he didn't, he hurt me, but he not hurt me enough to knock me out. If you understand what I'm saying, he was, you know, it wasn't a puncher that could really hit you on the chin and knock you out with one punch. It was that sort of thing, yeah. Anyway, I got out of the ring. I had enough. Jimmy said, no, he's had enough. My brother Bobby was crying. My big brother, my young brother, sorry, he was crying because he thought I was getting really bad. And then after that, I went into the dressing room, and I was talking to Roy, and you know, and Alex Steen. Well, I didn't know it was Alex Steen, and Joe Pyle. And I was talking to Roy, and I was going to Roy, like, you know, about prisons and the doors, and I was just take the locks off, and he was impressed, but there again, he wasn't that impressed, you know what I mean? And I told him, I said, you must have heard me rail. He said, no, I don't know who you are, never heard him, mate. And I was scatty, really, because I know Roy. I've heard of Roy because of what he used to do in Parkhurst and this, that, and the other, and other nicks. And I was a bit gutted, you know what I mean? He hadn't heard of me. But later on, he did hear about me because I used to go down to Beckett quite a lot. And we used to have quite a few boxing matches, sparring matches, me and Roy. And I got to the stage where I was getting better and better. But because you've got to remember, I used to train with pros, professional fighters, Bug Nice Spar with Billy Head and all that. So it takes a bit of time to come back, you know. And after that, I was banging Roy Shaw about a little bit, you know what I mean? And I didn't get back into spar with Roy after a couple of times that I knocked him around, you know. But I had so much respect for Roy as being the legend that he was, yeah. And I used to go to the boxing shows, and I see Roy at his boxing shows, and I'd, you know, sit there with Joe Pyle and Alex Steen. I think Ray Bender was there, Ronnie Bender's son, brother. He was there, and it was like he had an aura. He had the atmosphere around him, you know, like people like around him and pointing at him and all that, you know. And I mean, he's like a proper legend. It really is a legend, mate. And you know, a hard, powerful man. You know, and when you know, because you're on about your unlicensed, it's an unlicensed game. So in our unlicensed game, we all want to be the best. It's what it is, isn't it? Fighting game, you know. And Roy Shaw, he wasn't a flash guy. He wasn't flash. He would talk to you, and it wasn't a nasty talk. It was quite a nice, pleasant talk. He wasn't flash. He wasn't trying to make you look a fool, you know. And I liked him, you know. And in a way, I didn't, you know, like. I think I could have fought Roy at any time. Maybe 6 months after me and him used to have sparring matches, yeah. I was up and coming myself, yeah. So, but Lenny was a different kettle of fish. You know, me and Lenny at the Rainbow, mate. It all started at the Rainbow, Tottenham. You know, and it was like there. It was. I think it was Tottenham, the Rainbow. And, you know, it was like, how can I say? it was like me and Lenny just didn't hit it off from the first time, yeah. When sort of fight there, to go into the dressing room and to see Lenny and all this, that, and the other, and the way he put himself about, you know, but he wasn't that big to put himself about in them times, yeah, in the early 70s, late 70s, 79s, 80s. He wasn't that big to throw himself about as like a big power. You know, he wasn't that powerful looking. You know, he wasn't powerful like Roy Shaw was powerful. Lenny wasn't powerful. He didn't look nothing. What was he, 16 and a half stone? You know, he didn't look nothing. He had still that aura around him, that flashness. But I think he had the aura, the flashness around him because of Frankie Ryan. You know, but Roy, uh, when Roy come to the dressing room and all that and to talk, he wasn't. He was just a nice guy, you know. And I wanted to fight Lenny McLean more so than I did Roy. You know, honestly, I didn't want to really fight Roy Shaw. Maybe not. You know, because I had a lot of respect for him as being a legend and all that. Yeah. You know, we want to beat him. I wanted to beat Roy, but he was my legend. You know what I mean? I didn't want to fight anyway. People would understand if he was my age and it's when Roy was in prison, you know, like it was a legend and all that, you know. And sometimes legends you don't want to take the piss out of them, you know. Um, but Lenny being Lenny, it was just he made he made Lenny, didn't he? He made Lenny McLean. He made that Lenny, didn't he? Like very, you know, a lot of aura around him, bouncing about and all that. And he had Frankie Warren with him and all that, and you know, and all that, you know. And it's like he was Lenny was a legend too. Lenny McLean was a legend. You know, I've got stories about Lenny that I ain't saying it now because it's about Roy Shaw. But Roy Shaw, I never see any of. I think I see one fight when Lenny knocked Roy Shaw about like it was a punch ball. Yeah, I think it was a get up. It seemed like it was a get up. Jimmy Tibbet, my trainer, he said to me that he thinks it was a get up. I never see the first fight, him and Lenny together. Um, you know, but you got to remember that Roy Shaw was a legend. You know what I mean? He was like powerful. I mean, I sometimes when I was to go to Lewisham, yeah, not Lewisham, sorry, when I was to go to Chigwell, I was to go to Chigwell quite a lot because of my mate Mickey, and I was to go to Phelan Boyce as well, it's just down the road, Epping, and I was to go down there and see Nick Gildy, my other mate, and I was to go down there, and I was a couple of times seeing Shorey run around, running around. You see Shorey's short, stocky, massive calves, yeah, running around, you know, and you're in the shadow, and sort of doing a bit of shadow boxing, running, and it's like he's. I used to see it, and I used to think, wow, you know what I mean. But you know, anyway, Roy Shaw was a legend. I like the word, and it's like you know, I could never really run. I mean, I know I do run Lenny McLean down quite a lot, yeah, but it's because he is what he is, and he's a legend, and it needs to be brought up all the time about him, you know. Roy Shaw, not many people talk about Roy Shaw. I don't know why. They should do because he was a proper legend. Roy Shaw was a proper, how can I say, proper gangster. Well, Lenny wasn't. Where's Lenny been away for? I think he got what, 18 months of that manslaughter charge or whatever. And then when I was in Brixton with Lenny, he looked like he was deformed up. He looked like he was never going to make it. I swear on my life, you know what I mean? But we're all campaigners, you know what I mean? Like you see people like Lenny who's been in prison and it collapsed, mate. It killed him. it killed him. Roy and myself didn't, you know what I mean? Didn't, you know. Prison was a camp for us. Prison was a training camp for us. Prison was somewhere, you know, where all we wanted to do was go in there and train and bash people up. You know, that's what I did, and that's what Roy did, and you know, it was one of the things, isn't it? You know, but he was a legend, Roy. Roy has done armed robberies. He was an armed robber. He's a proper gangster as such, yeah. To have people like Joe Paul around you, and people like Alex Steens around you, and Benders, Ray Benders, and them sort of people around you 24/7, you got to be a face. You got to be proper, mate. You know what I mean? You got to be proper. You know, and I respect Roy when he used to spar with Johnny Bindon, because Johnny Bindon was going to fight Lenny McLean, but Lenny McLean didn't really like it yet. Yeah, it's a funny old career. Bang, bang, roll later, yeah.